All right, welcome back to The Hill. We continue to watch what's going on up on Capitol Hill with the debt ceiling negotiations. You heard just a moment ago from a Republican who basically said that they're not going to vote for it. Live look right now, by the way, inside the House Rules Committee, which is kind of the first step in all of this, a little bit of a temperature check to see where things might stand, though it sounds like more Republicans are coming out against this compromise negotiation between the White House and the House Speaker. Let's get the Democrats' take on all of this. Joining us now is Congresswoman Nikema Williams, a Democrat on the Progressive Caucus. Congresswoman, I don't know if you heard any of that interview with Bob Good, but it sounds like that maybe they're going to need a lot of Democratic support in the House to get this thing passed. Are you in favor of it? And how many Democrats do you think will rally around this?
I mean, I did hear part of that interview, and all I can say is that he is still in denial that we're even facing the brink of a catastrophic impact on our economy, saying that Secretary Yellen doesn't know what she's talking about and giving the deadline of June 5th of us actually running out of money to finance our government, to pay our bills. And so Congressman Good needs to go back and understand what is happening in this country.
What about yourself? Do you plan on voting for this?
I just got off of a White House briefing on the SNAP and TANF benefits. I'm waiting for one more update on the actual numbers and the impact on the people in my district that sent me to Washington to represent their voice. Right now, what I'm hearing leans me to vote yes on this because, number one, I want to make sure that we are saving our economy and we're paying our bills like we have done under Democratic presidents, Republican presidents. We have an obligation to do this. What I had concerns over were the SNAP and TANF benefits, the way that impacted the people in my district who are already living on the margins of society. I fully understand that we've expanded the parameters on unhoused people and veterans being able to get these benefits. And now I'm just looking on exact numbers for my district.
I understand that you're sitting there, waiting and wanting to learn more and read and getting briefed by the White House and all that. Fully get it. But this was also legislation that was negotiated directly by the President of the United States, the leader of your party. And it sounds like you still need to hear a lot more to get there. Did Joe Biden let Democrats down?
Absolutely not. The Republican Party has let the country down. So what is happening right now is we had a Republican Party who went to the table to negotiate, but not in good faith. They didn't go to negotiate on behalf of the American people. And so President Biden went into a situation where he knew that the Republican Party was holding Americans hostage in their negotiations. And they weren't really willing to work up towards anything because they don't care if our country goes into default. And so the president did what he could to make sure that he was standing up for the working people in this country. And I have an obligation as an elected member of the U.S. Congress representing my district to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to understand what the impact is for my constituents.
All right, Congresswoman Nikema Williams, thank you for the time. We appreciate it, and we'll see where all this goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to the panel, Lauren, real quick. It still seems like no matter what side you're on, there's like a lot there. I don't know if there's trouble, but there's like a lot there still.
I mean, Democrats, I am continually impressed. They stick together on a lot of these issues. They can whip their votes. Republicans, I sort of agree with the Congresswoman, are specialists at tripping their own teammates before they get to home plate. But I am confused about what the Democratic opposition to the new work requirements is. We haven't gotten enough information yet. But if it's raising the age limit, those original laws are something Joe Biden voted for in '96. Right. It's in line with life expectancy. It's still able-bodied people with no dependents. If those things are true, I would like more of an articulation of what the problem is, because I haven't seen many Democratic attempts to overturn those altogether. It seems they're pushing back, but we haven't seen the information yet.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.